Talented young man from Botswana, Chippy, made the semi-final at the Olympic Games, is the Botswanan 400-meter champion, and if you knew the strength in that country in that event, that really means something. Here is Chris Bailey in great form. Can he carry that indoor form to his first outdoor race here? Matt Hudson-Smith, he ran a relay leg last week in a 4x4, and he told me it was pretty swift. I haven't been able to find out how swift, but said it was quick, so really looking forward to this. Now, Samakonga, first saw him at the Commonwealth Games in a couple of years ago, and he won the gold medal in brilliant style. He just got better and better, bronze medalist at the Olympics. Jareem Richards, former world indoor champion, like Chris Bailey, but as I mentioned, great 200-meter pace as well. He's one of the favourites across these two events. And then Vernon Norwood has got so many relay medals, but in his own right, in the last year or two, really has been contending on the world stage as well. Zandrion Barnes. Well, Barnes knows how good Jamaica are in this event, but he is one of their best, certainly one of their bright new talents. And as indeed is Deandra Watkin on the inside, 44-48 last year at the Jamaican Championships.
I'd say Jareem is somewhat of a dark horse, but not. Former 200-meter runner. Got a bronze medal at the World Championships, actually, in the 200, and moved up to the 4. Just missed out on the medal at the Olympics. But I know all in all, Matthew Hudson-Smith is going to be favored in this race. Never seen Chris run in the bandana before. Something new, some attitude. Maybe a statement. Maybe he's a new man.
Yeah.
New look.
Right, just to remind you here, Bailey's in 7 there, inside Chippy, Hudson-Smith in 6. So Matt Hudson-Smith likes to get out a little bit quicker than he used to earlier in his career. And Matt Hudson-Smith into his running, but look out on the outside. Chippy started very, very quickly in lane 8, not even in the shot there. Samakonga, who will finish strongly and always does, trying to hang on to Hudson-Smith. Chris Bailey with a little bit of work to do at this point, because Hudson-Smith definitely leading with that slightly forward-leaning action of his around the top end. And now Chris Bailey starts to get going. Samakonga will finish quickly. Watch for the others on the inside in lane 2. Barnes is going well. And Matt Hudson-Smith just tying up here. And it's the world indoor champion with Vernon Norwood finishing quickly as well. It's going to be Chris Bailey going to take this one by a couple of meters. 44-34. Just outside his all-time best. Well, in these conditions, that is a phenomenal run. And I think that's maybe why Matt Hudson-Smith is probably thinking, I wasn't expecting to go that quick.
Nah, that's rolling.
That is swift.
He's obviously in shape. That indoor season obviously paid off. He came here, he's looking sharp. And the way he responded coming into the home stretch is what really surprised me. Matt, jumped on everybody early. And, Chris showed that strength coming home by responding like that. Flexing. I think he's ready to establish that he's here. So what stood out to me is that Matt really got out, like I said before, but just as that replay started, you could see Chris visibly respond to Matt. And I think for Matt, feeling him move at that part of the race would kind of play with his head, kind of caused him to tighten up a little bit as he got to the home straight. When you're that tired, to be able to respond to that part of the race, it's really difficult. It can play on your mind a lot.
You can see Matt trying to respond, couldn't you? He's trying to come back. He's thinking, I wasn't quite expecting this.
No.
I mean, Matt knows he's running well. That's a good opener, 44.65. And Norwood with a 44.7 as well. Really, really good. But I think, when you've come off of championships, he's in great form. He's in great shape. The travel could have been an issue, but he's obviously overcome that really well. And he did what he does. He finishes so well.
He's got that gold medal swag off the World Indoor Championships. That was impressive. 12 major points. I don't know what to expect.
Bronze medalist at the World Championships goes in heat 4 for England. There's the lineup: Geldenhuys of Namibia, Timbachi of Vanuatu, Anthony Cox of Jamaica, Solomon of Australia. Steve Solomon, watch him Kumaraj of Sri Lanka, Desroy Jordan of St Vincent and the Grenadines, and Shea Lara of Trinidad and Tobago on the outside. So with only 3 non-automatic qualifier spots, that's make the first 3 or you're not going to make it through to the semis is really the message. There is Shea Lara, 46.92 man this year. He'll be running blind. His personal best was last year, 46.4. In lane 7 for St Vincent and the Grenadines, he's actually the national 800 metres champion this year. Desroy Jordan, the 21-year-old, best of 47.76 this year. In 6, Kalinga Kumaraj of Sri Lanka, 3 times their champion and the reigning champion, set his personal best actually, but back on the 23rd of April. He hasn't raced since the middle of June. In 5, the very experienced Australian Steve Solomon, 8th in the Olympic Games in London 2012. Remember that, 10 years ago now. A semi-finalist in Tokyo last year, and he holds the Australian record for 400 indoors at 45.4. Good athlete. There's Anthony Cox of Jamaica. Had COVID in Eugene, but was able to compete in the heats of the 4x400 for his nation. Came 3rd in the Jamaican Championships earlier on this summer. There's Obedient Timbaki of Vanuatu. Went out in his heat of the World Championships, the 19-year-old, best of 52.85 this year, and that is his lifetime best. And then in 2 is Ivan Dani Geldenhuis of Namibia, 21 in a few days' time, the South African semi-finalist in the African Championships in Mauritius back in early June, but he hasn't raced either since early June, the 20-year-old Geldenhuis. 46.4 his best this year. Remember, the first 3 go through by right, so he'll be right on the cusp of it, will even Danny Geldenhuis.
On your marks.
Reigning champion is Makwala. He's up Makwala of Botswana. Indeed, his teammate Babaloki Thebe took out the silver on the Gold Coast back in 2018. So the first heat of 7 then in the men's 400 metres. Geldenhuis in 2, Timbaki of Vanuatu in 3, Cox of Jamaica 4, Solomon of Australia in 5, the Sri Lankan Kumaraj in 6, Jordan of St Vincent and the Grenadines in 7, and Lara, Trinidad and Tobago in lane 8.
Set.
Well, qualifying from this should be a formality for an athlete of the calibre of Steve Solomon of Australia, but he'll want a solid run. He's in 5 there, right in the centre in the yellow with the greenish shorts, 4th from left at the moment, moving well down the back straight. And actually quickest away is Kumaraj of Sri Lanka, really quick through the first 200 in that blue strip. He's a 45.8 performer this year, but he leads at the moment by quite some margin. Solomon going okay right in the centre. Inside him, the Jamaican vest of Anthony Cox is moving well around the second bend as they come into the straight. Kumaraj has given 101% through the first 300. Now he's chased down by the big figure of Cox, the Jamaican, who looks very strong for the last 50. Solomon follows him through, and he's under real pressure here for 3rd place, and I think he just loses out there to Geldenhuis from Namibia, who gets 3rd spot. It is the first 3, remember, who go through by right. And I think, despite giving everything for the first 380, it was nearly enough. Kumaraj of Sri Lanka might just have got run out of it. It was very tight at the line. No doubting the strong finish and fine form of Anthony Cox. Maybe a little bit frustrated after not being able to give his all in Eugene a couple of weeks back because of COVID. But he wins in 45.51. That is only a couple of clicks outside his lifetime best from earlier on this season. And Steve Solomon, 45.98, a solid 2nd for Australia. And it was even Danny Geldenhuis of the Namibia who took 3rd place, 46.51. Kumaraj will have to wait and see, but 46.53, I'm not sure it'll be quick enough. Desroy Jordan of St Vincent and the Grenadines, a personal best for him. Significant leap forward, 47.29.
Oh, I was absolutely willing the Sri Lankan 3rd from the left here as we look at it to get himself home in the top 3. It was a really bold piece of running because he knew the likes of Cox of Jamaica and Solomon, who seems to have been around for a lifetime, made the Olympic final. Must have been a teenager then back in 2012. The Sri Lanka knew that they would be coming and closing and that he'd start wading through treacle towards the back end of the race. Geldenhuis did really well to come through in lane 2. Good running by Cox, just off the podium in the World Youth a few years ago. So unlucky to get COVID in Eugene and not be able to perform at his best. It's a good run by Solomon there, and Geldenhuis out dipping Kumaraj. So the Sri Lankan will have to wait to see whether he can claim one of the 3 non-automatic spots. But remember, that's 3 non-automatic spots from 7 heats. Good running by Cox, 3rd in the Jamaican National Champs. Just to make it as any level of international in a Jamaican sprint event shows you the calibre of the man we've just been watching, just off the podium in the World Youth, and he'll be absolutely determined to remind everybody what he could have produced in Eugene had COVID not brought his aspirations at the Worlds to a premature end.
Well, there it is. You can see the fine form of Anthony Cox. Bottom of picture. Working hard with the arms there. And that is very nearly a lifetime best. And I think there's considerably more to come from the 21-year-old. Solomon of Australia in the dark glasses. Moving well, and you can see the effort from even Danny Geldenhuis. Here he is with about 40 to go. He's way back in 4th, but he keeps battling away. Kumaraj by far the smallest of the 4-inch shot, just tying up the stride length going, the knees not coming up over the final meters, and he just gets out dipped by the Namibian, giving himself an early 21st birthday present in effect. There it is. Anthony Cox wins for Jamaica, 45.51, and lovely big capital Q beside his name. Steve Solomon likewise for Australia in 2nd place, and Geldenhuis of Namibia taking that precious 3rd spot by 4/100ths of a second. Sorry, 2.
The men's 400 meters can tell completely different stories depending on context, and the contrast between the World Athletics Grand Slam in Kingston and the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham perfectly illustrates the breadth and depth of the one-lap race. In Kingston, the 400 meters was a brutal demonstration of elite supremacy. The field was stacked with proven quarter-milers from the USA, Jamaica, Great Britain, and Botswana, nations with deep sprinting traditions and medal expectations. From the moment the gun fired, the race unfolded at a relentless tempo. The American runners imposed control early, attacking the backstretch with authority and showing no hesitation through the curve. This was not a race built on patience or survival. It was about dominance. Jamaica and Great Britain attempted to respond with aggressive mid-race surges, while Botswana relied on its trademark smooth efficiency, but none could match the sustained power of the USA down the home straight. The final meters felt inevitable rather than dramatic, a clear message that at the highest level, precision, depth, and composure decide everything. Birmingham offered a very different narrative. At the Commonwealth Games, the 400 meters heat was less about global hierarchy and more about personal redemption and tactical risk. Jamaica's Anthony Cox entered the race carrying emotional weight after his disrupted World Championships in Eugene, while the lineup included athletes from nations with far less exposure on the world stage. Unlike Kingston's controlled aggression, this race exploded early. Sri Lanka's Kalinga Kumar took a bold gamble, blasting through the first 200 meters and daring the field to follow. For a moment, it looked inspired, his lead was visible, and the pressure shifted instantly to the chasers. But the 400 meters rarely forgives impatience. As the race entered its final bend, the cost of Kumar's early ambition became clear. Cox, running with restraint and clarity, began to close relentlessly. Where Kingston showcased raw superiority, Birmingham revealed the psychological battle of pacing and belief. Cox's finish was not just physical but symbolic, a composed response under pressure, turning frustration into control when it mattered most. Together, these two races capture the full spectrum of the 400 meters. Kingston represented the peak of global power, where margins are slim but authority is absolute. Birmingham highlighted the event's unforgiving nature, where courage can inspire but discipline ultimately prevails. One race crushed rivals with certainty, the other punished excess and rewarded patience. Both, in their own way, proved why the 400 meters remains one of athletics' most demanding and revealing tests.